person, I am obligated to talk about the Grummz situation. Western Kabuki and friends have put together a systematic takedown of Mark Kern, aka Grummz, and their allegations are that Mark Kern led a double life as a pornographer who wrote, produced, commissioned, filmed, and directed fetish porn over 2 decades. So this is interesting. This is slight spoilers, but not really, because we're going to watch the breakdown, part 1 of the Goonernomicon that it's been called by MLYP, who is this person. I'm only going to watch the very end of the intro. If you want to watch the full video, here is the link, and I suspect that you will want to, because you can watch it even faster than I can watch it. So we'll be watching this whole thing. But I wanted to show you this, not because it's my tweet and you should follow me and also retweet it because it makes Grummz mad, but who has blocked me on the internet. I thought his response was very interesting, where he turned off replies. He turned off fucking replies, and he says, "How did you get the passwords? Why did you post them in plain text in your Discord?" As like, he's not denying any of the things that they're saying. He's just saying, he's just like, well, maybe you got my passwords in a fucky way. Who cares? I don't care. I have no idea how they got the passwords. I'm not involved with it. There was a reply guy down here. I don't even know. I don't want to scroll too much. I don't know what the fuck these Grummz ass motherfuckers are posting in here. But there's a reply guy in here who I thought might be Mark, because he replied pretty quickly early on, and he said, "Do you even want to get involved with this?" And I'm like, I'm not. I don't know how to describe to you how not involved I am. This is my first covering of Grummz ever on the stream, I think, right now. Maybe one other time on accident. I don't know. Maybe he was involved in some other thing, but this is my first Grummz video. So, I mean, relax, guys. Anyway, here's the Goonernomicon.
What I have in my hands it's probably the most complete biography of Mark Edward Kern, aka Grummz, that you're ever going to get. So
I watched some of the beginning of this when it came out, and then I thought, man, I need to watch this with chat. This person is very confident, and it makes it very funny because Mark is he's a whiny guy. He's a whiny fella. He's always the victim, and so it's pretty funny.
So Mark isn't 100% into the game dev and culture war life. No, he has other side projects. There's objective proof of companies he has registered and deregistered, websites that he has worked on, money that he has taken from people for these other projects under other names, but it all comes back to him. Once again, this is publicly accessible information.
So I wanted to play just the very intro to this because I wanted you to see who was making this video, but also that the reiteration that this is publicly available information is very interesting to me. I'm surprised it took this long to get a breakdown of Mark Kern, but I guess it just took someone that wanted to take the time to do it.
When he found out people were looking for this, he has deleted the LinkedIn, Instagram, DeviantArt, Clips for Sale, Twitter account. Every public-facing piece of information that we can find has now been deleted. While you, Mark Edward Kern, were beating your meat raw over anime children's navels, we were
Good God. Oh, God.
finding out more about you than anyone should. Draw your blade, pervert.
Draw your blade, pervert. God. All right, now we're officially cracking open the Goonernomicon, and then the pages stick together, and you gotta pull them apart.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to what I am calling the Goonernomicon. Now, this isn't a magic book full of spells that you can only cast one-handed.
To test yourself, to know the glories of combat.
On guard, draw your blade.
This is a documentation of Mark Edward Kern, the first in a series of some of the worst onanists, some of the worst masturbators in the gaming sphere, who are trying to mold and manipulate gaming culture to return to a time when they were 12 years old and all they had in life to look forward to is extra cheese sticks and a woman in a bikini.
I'm gonna speed this up.
Come heavy or come not at all.
It looks like we're coming heavy today.
It will become pretty obvious that these men just think with their erections. People forget that hating is an inherently valuable form of
Come heavy or come not at all.
God damn it, guys. I'm trying to listen to this. Quit giving me money for 2 seconds. Have some decorum. Have some self-respect.
Jake defeated.
God damn it.
People forget that hating is an inherently valuable form of critical thinking. I have learned tens of thousands of facts via hating. If you are truly hating, you will take all the time you need to learn everything about the subject you are hating on just to hate better, deeper, efficiently, effectively. This is a law of nature. This is a law of hating.
A law of hating. Jesus Christ. Look, man. Kendrick Lamar has inspired people to reinvest in their hating particles.
The only thing that stopped this from coming out earlier is no one has been motivated enough to pay a data aggregator $11, and there are multiple data
I guess that's true.
aggregators that have this information just sitting out there in the open. The story here is that Grummz is a man who has aggressively pursued his personal interests at great cost to his family and his career. The biggest crime here is that anime babes with huge bazongas are his main interest. Actually, no, that's not the biggest crime. It's tax fraud. We'll get there.
Oh, fuck.
All of these points are archived in the description with source links. In 1968, Grummz comes into the world. Mark Edward Kern, he is a former video game executive. 1992, he gets his bachelor's degree in cognitive science from the...
Oh, this is really actually like, here's the story of Grummz. Okay, good. Because I'm going to be honest, I am not invested in this guy at all. Like, as far as Mark is concerned, I don't really care about this guy. The only thing that I care about is that he shows up on my Twitter feed and is stupid as fuck, and that's annoying. And I don't like that. He's saying dumb shit on the internet, which I, of course, can't abide if it shows up in front of me. As you might know, chat, I like it. I like yapping. I'm an amateur Grummz hater as well. Yeah, I do hate. Like, yeah, fuck that guy. Of course. But yeah, I don't have the kind of like I don't have the dog in me for the haterade that is going on here. But I do appreciate it. I'm a sports fan, as you guys might know, and so I like to see people at the top of their game, like giving it their all towards their passion like this. So I'm happy to see someone hate at a high level.
University of Rochester. He eventually gets his doctorate from Boston University School of Law with a specialization in IP. He goes on to found Qualia Games in Boston, developing a top-down 2D shooter called Crixer. This is with Blizzard's backing, and he loves the name Crixer. Crixer is eventually cancelled by Blizzard. They do pull the funding, and Qualia shuts down. There's enough money to pay the payroll. Blizzard used this as a way to get some talent, and Mark is unfortunately the only one to take them up on that offer. He eventually moves on to a role at Blizzard. He serves as an associate producer for StarCraft, works on StarCraft 64 and Diablo 2 as a producer. He's in the credits. I'm not going to dispute the fact that he worked on these games. This is part of his career. March 27, 2001, FoxyFighter.com is purchased by Mark Kern. Ignore
FoxyFighter.com.
the country of France. That is where Gandhi's SAS is located. They're a French company, but Mark Kern is the registrant. Now, Mark Kern isn't a unique name, but there's later information that basically proves that this is him. Now, what is FoxyFighter.com? To put it as simply as possible, FoxyFighter.com is sexy catfight hentai. It is
Sexy catfight hentai? Wow. This is not super surprising given the type of guy Grummz is and the type of guys that like Grummz.
is a website run by a persona called Debbie Chan, but Debbie Chan is Mark. And that's underselling it. He has, over the course of 20 plus years, collected a variety of live-action catfights, drawn hentai catfights, quite a bit of like run-of-the-mill porn. However, there are multiple stories where his persona, Debbie, violently sexually abuses women.
That's so cool, man. Great. That's what you want to see out of the guy that's calling everybody else like this guy's a huge transphobe, of course, classic, projection type shit. Same thing over and over and over. They're just trying to cast aspersions at everybody else when they're the ones doing all the things that they hate.
It's been scrubbed at this point. As soon as Grummz got a sniff that people were investigating this, he ripped down as much as he could. Unfortunately, we archived most of it.
Unfortunately, we archived most of it.
The email addresses that we found share passwords. When searching a pwn database, which is a database of dumped passwords and email addresses, we found a FoxyFighter email sharing the same password as Mark Kern's email. Fascinating, huh? We also found this one.
Pretty Little Girl 16. Yikes, bro. What the fuck? What was I going to say? Apparently they got a lot of this information from a data breach. So you should be mad at capitalism, Mark Kern, because this is what it allowed.
I'm just leaving that out there. Moving on. July 21st, 2001 is the earliest capture of FoxyFighters.com. On February 28, 2002, Debbie wins second place in the third Seeking Femfights story competition, so he is actively making this stuff. And on March 24, 2003, we get RussianCatfights.com. This is another site owned by Mark. He confirms it on a Twitter post. March 22nd, 2004, we get an archive of Latina Catfights. This is
God damn it. Can we see a difference in the depictions of the cats? he's got going on? Because it's like a hentai thing, right? Like, is he?
This is also owned by Mark. June 28, 2004, access to FoxyFighter goes for about $10 a month.
FoxyFighter. So is this like furry stuff, or is this just like... Because the FoxyFighter seems to be. Yeah. Why is it always lesbian porn? I don't know. It's women fighting. Right. So is it furry women fighting or just women fighting? And he called it Foxy Fights because women are foxy. Chad, it's been 20 years since this came out. We are a more sophisticated sexual country at this point, sexual world. And so if you name it Debbie Chan's FoxyFighter now and it's not Fox-based porn, then it's like you kind of fucked up naming that, you know? Instead, it's kids. Yay! Good job, Mark.
And drawn artwork. November 13, 2004, World of Warcraft releases. This is effectively the pinnacle of Mark's career. He's credited as team lead. He says he works on drafting the TOS in ULA and does licensing with China. He leaves Blizzard shortly afterwards. He says he's going to go and be with some family. So I don't blame him. Like, that was a very hard process, even if he was apparently a bit of a shithead. Look, no one's spoken about him in a good light at Blizzard, really. Like, not in a way that I think a team lead should in this role. Very shortly afterwards, him and a few other Blizzard employees found Red 5 Studios. So he obviously had a couple of friends who wanted to work with him, but he's not really mentioned in a lot of these retrospective books. It's real fascinating.
He's not mentioned in these retrospectives?
June 15, 2005, RussianCatfights.com is closed due to changes in US law. And on August 18, 2005, LatinaCatfights.com is closed to the same changes. So,
what law? We apologize because we're doing this change. What was the law?
I don't want to point out that this is anything egregiously sinister. This was a change that was required in the porn industry to have verified records of the performers. Before this law, those records were not kept.
Of their age. Oh, verifying that people were 18. Good.
Blizzard in 2008 had some problems. People were stealing breast milk.
Blizzard producer Stephanie Krusty claims breast milk was stolen from work fridge around this time. Mark Kern was not working there at the time.
From the fridge. This is attributed to Mark. People call him the breast milk bandit. He wasn't working there at the time, and he's not the breast milk bandit.
He's not the breast milk bandit, but it's funny to think he is. Good. I'm glad we cleared that up. Look, Mark, you can see that this is fair and balanced.
It's funny to think he is. Please keep doing it.
Please keep doing it!
It's very funny. But we found dozens of breast milk photos on FoxyFighter.com, so smoke is fire, huh, Mark?
Okay, theory. Mark Kern leaves Blizzard, but he had to leave something behind. Something he'd always wanted. The breast milk. And now he has to use the inside man to get what he needs. You see? You get it? You feel it? I'm just saying. He just needed to know a guy to get the breast milk. He didn't need to be the guy that actually stole it to be the guy that wanted it.
October 17, 2008, as forum admin on FreeCatfights.com, Debbie recommends a Japanese breast milking series to another forum.
He recommends a Japanese breast milking series. Lactating fights. These fights are pretty hot. I love it when one girl is on all fours and the other is straddling her and reaching down to milk her tits. ... Yum! There are some Japanese videos that feature milking, such as the Big Bust series here. Not all will feature this. Hard to tell which will. Also, the Brazilian site that used to feature some of these is no longer selling in the US. I had done for my old site, Latina Catfights, to see if I could find and post a small segment to YouTube. That's funny. So now you have him confirming also that it's him in the forum. That's funny.
And reveals that he owned LatinaCatfights.com. Now, you might notice that this is forum admin with the Batman avatar. This was scrubbed about a day ago. But this is him. April 23rd, 2009, Red 5 lays off 30 people. Reports of a studio purchase emerge. March 10th, 2010, that studio purchase comes through. A company called The Nine announces acquisition of Red 5 Studios, and Grummz becomes CEO. May 19th, 2010, Grummz buys a Leica S2 and a 70mm lens from OC Camera. Now, I bring this up because we match metadata from some of the live-action photos on FoxyFighter to this exact camera and lens types that we know.
They matched metadata? What? These guys are sleuths. What the fuck? Now that is some hater. Look, the hater levels have maybe never been higher. This is pretty great stuff. Good God.
He owns. September 3rd, 2010, Red 5 announces Firefall at PAX. September 20th, 2011, he goes and advertises FoxyFighter.com and FreeCatFights.com on r/comics, which probably not the best place to do it, but doesn't even get a single piece of engagement. That's kind of sad. Aww. Come on, man, you're better posted than this. Even I can admit that, but...
He advertises FoxyFighter. I have to read this. This is Grummz. I'm a girl who loves a throwdown of any kind between two hot and sexy women. Writer, artist, and web mistress. I put together two great sites for my passion, FoxyFighter.com and FreeCatFights.com, which have grown to be the biggest sites for female wrestling on the web. On FoxyFighter, I write and hire artists to help create the hottest catfight and female wrestling and MMA stories for the web. We also have full catfight comics. Knockdown, drag out wrestling gal with her own catfight comic website. Wow. It has a comment. Oh, wait, or is it just this one? Oh, the post is the one comment.
Dog. March 7th, 2011, he asks for models to star in fighting videos, so he's starting to move into the live action space at this point. And March 21st, 2011, model Megan Renee posts, I adore you, Mark, on his Model Mayhem profile. And that's his Model Mayhem profile, Studio FoxyFighter. You see that little boxing glove image up the top right next to his profile? That one is an exact match to a camera lens I know he owns and a camera that he owns. Just a thought. October 5th, 2011, an IGN interview mentions Firefall will release soon. And he goes on to film a video of Randy Moore and Kimberly Jane. In January 18th, 2012, Red 5 skips E3 to protest SOPA. Mark is really big on hating SOPA, and he skips it and donates $50,000, which was their E3 fund, to found the League for Gamers instead. League for Gamers is ostensibly a non-profit founded by Mark Kern. They style themselves as an advocacy group for video games, consumer-centric versus industry-focused. They represent the gamer. Red 5 paid this charity $50,000. He wired himself $50,000 from his slowly failing game studio, which I'm guessing was all that was left in the couch cushions at this point. Never logged the transaction with the state of California. This should be logged. It's not in the logs where we're checking. We can see other logs, but it's not there. He then waits for California to dissolve their non-profit, then started a for-profit Delaware corp with the same name.
Slick. Wow. That is slick shit, man. Oh my god.
That's bad. Why was this allowed?
That's bad.
Is this all above board tax-wise? I'm sure the California AG would love to know about this and the rest of your tax dodges. June 6, 2012, Grummz offers his opinion on the Leica S2 and Nikon D3S, mentions using them for the last 2 years. This is, again, just here as an aside, he used these cameras and 100% owned them. They are a match for FoxyFighter's content in the unscrubbed metadata. July 4th, 2013, you remember the Firefall bus? Well, that's shown at Anime Expo LA. July 9th, 2013, Firefall finally enters open beta.
The fuck is Firefall? Guess it didn't work out.
They are rapidly running out of money, though. That's going to become obvious. December 19th, 2013, he gets removed as CEO. They vote him out. July 29th, 2014, Firefall finally releases. September 22nd, 2014.
It released? Hold the fuck on. No, I'm sorry. That's a Firefall, an online game? Good lord. Oh, that's so ugly. No wonder. I've never seen anything about this in my life. Can you imagine this HUD? No. Ooh, this is ugly stuff. They should have hired one artist to look at this. One artist to be like, yeah, this is just not gonna work.
Mark is, after his next venture, he has made MEK Entertainment, Mark Edward Kern Entertainment. It is in Aliso Viejo, which is where everything that he does is based. They are an indie game company looking to leverage the blockchain, maybe, 10 years too early for that hype, but I respect the forward-facing vision. MEKEntertainment.com launches at this point. They are registered to MEK Entertainment Inc. However, looking at those...
He was a blockchain guy before it was cool? Oh, no.
Business entries, it looks like he never actually registered it as a company called MEK Entertainment. The game from the seed funding never really materializes. He gets ousted from MEK Entertainment, and they go on to...
He keeps getting ousted from every place he works at. Even places he starts.
Make a game called Voxel Noughts, but Mark never really does anything with his money, and we'll get to some allegations about that money later on. June 17th, 2015, Grummz announces that he's joining Gamergate. He's...
That is fucking it. I am now Gamergate. That's fucking it.
Mad. He's always mad. He's mad and he's horny. July 7th, 2015, DB-chan LLC is registered. Mark Kern's mother is the registered CEO. And imagine having your mother being the CEO of your porn company. Come on, man. Have some pride.
Did she know? Do we think she knew at all?
August 8th, 2015, MEK Entertainment changes to Retro Ronin Inc., which is a site about Voxel Noughts. No Mark. Mark is no longer working for Retro Ronin. And on September 14th, 2015, Crixa Labs LLC is registered. This is the same address as DB-chan LLC. Interesting. My question here is why? It seems legally sketchy to register 2 LLCs under your 80-year-old mum's name.
Right?
My working theory is that this is a tax shelter, and it allows him to report that he earns 0 or less than the personal income required to be taxable by law, and then he can report any additional earnings to his LLCs. He can then write taxes down by saying his revenue did not exceed his annual expenses. He can say his business spent more than they earned, not pay a dime on the money. This is classic tax fraud. Again, California AG would love to have this information.
Oh, fuck, dude. This is actually... Like, normally we watch, like, an internet takedown of somebody, and it's good, and it's got some drama in it or whatever. But this is just like, look at this guy's receipts. Isn't he just unethical and doing bad fraud stuff? Like, it's pretty systemic. This is just part 1 of the Goonernomicon.
October 19th, 2015, Debbie floats the idea of creating an online catfight game, likely thing for Mark to do. November 2nd, 2015, the Patreon for FoxyFighter is launched. It maxes out at $57 a month, and it's eventually paused in 2020. November 16th, 2015, Cameroon Wildebeest is a prolific artist working in the catfight scene. They've passed away. His hard drive is too damaged to recover, and a terabyte of catfight art is lost forever.
No!
November 20th, 2015, Mark's wife disappears from social media as far as we can tell at this point. Until then, she'd been quite a big cheerleader for him in the online space. So, just kind of putting it in here as a marker, really. December 9th, 2015, he leaves Gamergate after being kind of too transphobic, and
he leaves Gamergate? How do you leave Gamergate?
Does drop a couple of F-slurs, so good job. No, sorry, he doesn't drop the F-slurs. People on Kotaku and Action do, but they're mad that he's... Yeah, look, these people are all sad and need jobs. December 7th... 2015, Mark does interview to promote his free speech organization. He's still trying to keep League of Gamers going at this point, and Voxelnort's Twitter comes out and alleges that Mark stole money from Voxelnort.
Dude.
So, that's where that money went from that seed funding.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
16th, 2016 on freecatfights.com, they've been filming fights with a Red Dragon camera. Now that's interesting. Are these the same Red Dragon cameras that Red 5 had in their studio? I raised this earlier in the video. They had 3 Red Dragon cameras in their possession worth $50,000 each. That's the whole rig. That's not just the brain. The brain's about 20. We have evidence that Mark was in possession of Red accessories at his personal lockup in California after he had left Red 5. Are they the cameras? Did he abscond with them, or did he purchase them with some of his pilfered MEK Entertainment money?
Wow, even the fucking... down to the cameras. Oh my god, dude. It's crazy how many times, like, guys like this... We just did the quartering thing the other day. You know what I mean? Like, they just hustle and hustle and hustle and hustle, and they just rack up all this debt. It's so crazy.
I'm not alleging anything specific here. I am asking questions. What is fascinating is that he had access to the same cameras that Red did after he left Red 5. Remember that tax fraud discussion? It's at this point that Mark is hit with a lien for $265,133.88 for unpaid tax from the years 2011, 2012, and 2013. Excuse me for messing up the 2013 to 2015 on this slide. I'm not going to fix it. May 2nd, 2016, Debbie Chan posts on Twitter looking for models, promises good conditions and a full makeup and hair crew. May 25th, 2016, Kern goes to the Firefall subreddit telling people they should kill the game so that he can buy back the IP for cheap, which is...
Jesus Christ. Also, buying a fail IP is cheap. You get the code, the RSS... Yeah, he wants to just buy it and flip it or something?
It's kind of sad. To me, it's still an active game at this point, but you're actively trying to kill it so you can buy and get it back because you're mad you got ousted. He can't let it go, can he? May 29th, 2016, he delivers a petition to restore vanilla World of Warcraft to Blizzard. This is kind of his other big claim to fame in modern day. And June 11th, 2016, the legal compliance page for FoxyFighter.com lists the mailing address for DBChan LLC as the same address that Crixer Labs is registered to. I've censored it here, but that is fascinating. You can't deny that DBChan, Foxyfighters, that's Mark. It is Mark. June 27th, 2016, Make Ember, a spiritual successor to Firefall, is posted on change.org by Mark.
So... has anyone seen the type of content on there? Everyone, like, he scrubbed it all. What's part 2 even going to have? What the fuck?
That does hit 4,700 supporters. So, let's make Ember. He has camera equipment. He hosts camera equipment to Flickr. Lenses here are a match to the photos shot for FoxyFighters. And we see the Red accessories I mentioned earlier. This is all in the same location, all shot on the same iPhone. Just a thought. August 29th, 2016, Ember, massive planetary wargame Indiegogo campaign is launched. $5,000 goal, raises $23,000. September 14th, 2016, Ember Milestone 2 campaign is funded on Indiegogo. November 20th.
He never makes anything.
9th, 2016, puts his first adult video on Clips for sale. This is his account and it's linked on the FoxyFighter site. This is him. This is what he is selling. Note, an anonymous user eventually replies, is this a Mark Kern product? Deplorable.
Any idea when the Sophia and Jennifer match will be available? They look amazing. Tit clawing in red lingerie. Tit clawing? This is about as big of a bust as the original say, huh? Shit or get off the pot, Debbie! I'm just waiting for the catfight stories I liked to read. Aw. This guy's just like, I just want the catfights to come back. I just like the stories.
I want to know who this person was. What did they know? This is in 2017. Someone knew about this 8 years ago? How did they know? Anyway, July 3rd, 2017, MEK Entertainment is formally closed, and July 5th, Ember is funded for 170 grand. So that's 114,000 between both Indiegogo and PayPal donations. That's over 20k goal. Grummz promises a playable mock-up in 6 months. Kickstarter for a full game a month or two after that.
Oh my god.
Anyway, September 13th, 2017, Mark's mum issues a certificate of cancellation for DBChan LLC. So, see you, DBChan. Thanks for your service, Mark's mum. And on July 24th, 2018, Ember begins selling upgrades to M3 backers as a limited time offer until the Kickstarter later this year. May 20th, 2018, a child support motion is filed by the state of California. Mark and
Child support, no!
his wife had been separated for a while. He had referred to her as his ex-wife in the Ember Discord, but they had reconciled at this point, according to another Twitter post from him. But this is obvious proof that they did separate at one point. And do you think the reason she left is because she found out about the adult entertainment gig, or maybe she found out about the tax fraud? Just a question. The timing makes sense with her leaving, him trying to go all in on the DBChan LLC. Much to think about. So, March 1st, 2019, Debbie resurfaces. Like, this is when this was archived.
BDSM slave fight. It's me, Debbie!
But obviously the post was on January 3rd, 2019. They come back on freecatfights.com and asked if there's a demand for FoxyFighters to come back. 7th of March 2019, well, Mark admits that his original 3D artist left and he's had to teach himself how to do 3D modeling and build the main character of Ember. He's never made a game this way before, so he's trying to do it all without any outside investors, and at this point you should have realized it's a scam, team. So, no one is a full-time employee on Ember. This is a solo project. An MMO is a solo project for him, and come on, team. Anyway, 28th of June 2019, Ember...
Oh my god. That is a crazy fucking thing. Look at the proportions of this.
First playable is achieved. Gamers. Finally.
Gamers.
20th of August 2019, FoxyFighter blog is offline. The DNS update needs to be required. Like, that's pretty simple, but this takes him a while. On the 5th of February 2021, FoxyFighter is back online. Well done. Grummz is kind of wanking around at this point. He claims that he's not working on the game due to family reasons, but he's still just kind of shitposting on Twitter. And on 2nd of August 2021, Debbie releases a story called The Date. So while he's meant to be working on it...
Up to 20... Dude, this was his passion project. He's been on this shit for 20 years. What the fuck? He loves this shit.
This crowdfunded game, he's actually just written adult literature on the crowdfunder's dime, and this is where that like violent sexual fantasy stuff comes in. 1st of December 2021, the FoxyFighter URL lapses, a domain squatter grabs it for a hot minute. And 2022-2023, Grummz continues to radicalize himself on Twitter.com. The rate of his posting rapidly increases as he tries to make himself one of the big culture warriors, and he's deleted a lot of that stuff now. A lot of his tweets aren't in existence back past 2023, but his rate of tweeting has done nothing but increase even since then. 30th of Jan 2024, Debbie makes her last login on freecatfights.com. God bless.
Oh, the last one. Oh, it's all gone now. He loves being Debbie. He really did. That really seemed like Mark's passion. Why don't you just go all in on that instead of fucking around with everything else?
FoxyFighter URL, still squatted. 26th of March 2024, Grummz tweets, bring back Rumble Roses. This is relevant because that's also Debbie's favorite game.
Debbie's favorite game is Rumble Roses. That's crazy. I wonder if they're the same. I think we should support him and affirm his identity. It is egg behavior for real. Like, he's so much happier when he's identifying as Debbie. It seems like egg stuff to me, yeah.
25th of March 2025, we are made aware of the FoxyFighters connection, and at this point, archival attempts begin. Twitter user Juniper makes contact with Grummz for an interview request. He said...
Oh no, Juniper. He was probably fucking freaking out. As long as the results written, would tomorrow early evening work? I'm not sure which time zone you live in, but would 5:30 CST? If so, I could provide you with a Riverside link, and I'll just be you, me, and my producer who record, transcribe a couple questions for about your growing role in the online gaming space that we have in the works for you. Send me the questions ahead of time, and I'll consider it.
Yes, he is drunk at the time. He is drunk posting through it because he's mad that he got ratioed by Assassin's Creed. And when he wakes up the next day, Grummz blocks the hosts of Western Kabuki and begins...
Oh, because he did some research. Tough.
...to delete his past history as Foxy fighting DebbieChan. It's Joba. Never been more Joba. So now what? This wasn't hard to find. We have archived all of it, so I'm going to be very careful with how I phrase the next things. The rest of it's all just been questions and statements of fact. Most of the previous portion, pure fact record. Mark Kern is the owner of FoxyFighters and has a pattern of consistently ignoring his day job to focus on it. He has a history of mismanaging money. He has potentially committed tax fraud that the California AG will be very interested in. He has consistently lied about progress on his games and has failed to make anything commercially successful since he was a team lead at Blizzard. It is my opinion that these games at Blizzard succeeded despite him rather than because of him. He does not know how to code, he does not know how to texture models, his animations are based on 2 keyframes with 3 other frames of animation. He will always have an excuse for his failure after failure after failure. This man is sad. If you keep funding him or supporting him, you are willingly throwing your weight behind someone who has deceived and defrauded thousands of people while trying to position himself as a savior of gaming. There are people in the Ember Discord who have said they are afraid they are going to die before the game comes out.
They definitely will. That game is not coming out. When's the last time the last update was that screenshot, wasn't it? Why do they all do this? It's insecurity, right? This guy's insecure about being himself. He has to hide behind all this shit. He has to keep this lie up, this facade, so that he can't get his gooey center where he's all vulnerable at, because he's a scared little boy. That's where a lot of the right-wing men are. They're just scared little guys. It's all of it.
This is all for the purposes of lining his pocket and making some really bad pornographic material.
And freaks.
And I feel sad for the guys that are about to die. They are just desperate to play this game. They want to play something that reminds them of when life was better, and he just ignores them. His only goal right now is to get engagement from Elon Musk.
It seems to be a big goal for a lot of these fucking guys out here, because they found out that Elon Musk, if you suck his dick enough, will give you money. He loves that shit.
Deep throating that man so hard that his throat is going to recognize the veins. That's his life now. He's not making a game. He keeps saying a Kickstarter is coming. This is a great year for Ember. It's not. He does not know how to make a game. His one hope is that Daddy Elon notices him and throws a few $1 million at him to hire people who actually know how to make a game. This man is a failed dev, a failed pornographer, a failed husband with a fragile mind, a fragile ego, and a fragile life.
And how many right-wingers do you know that don't resemble at least 4 of 5 of these things? For him to do all 6 is just greedy, I think.
That's the timeline. And I'm not going to make value judgments over the rest of it. That's for you to decide. I've laid out the facts as I see them. It is my opinion, and I'm going to crouch this as being my opinion. Mark Kern is a narcissistic loser who has a publicly stated fetish for lolicon navels and a hidden fetish for women catfighting.
Fuck! Yeah. So, which isn't... Okay, so that, of course, no one really cares about that in a vacuum. But, of course, with the context of Mark Kern being against pretty much all of the people that are involved in these kinds of communities at all, except for Lolicon, I guess, but like any kind of like, they're queer people. They're the ones they're doing all the bad stuff out there. You watch out for the trans people in the bathrooms and the gaming wokeness. And then he's out here doing like despicable, disgusting shit. And it's all fraud all the time. It's crazy, dude. Yeah. How could he call it? Like, he just has to, and this is how it always is. They have to try to cast aspersions at everybody else to try to throw the smoke off of them. But, I mean, the louder he screams, of course, the more scrutiny is going to be put on him. Idiot. They're so stupid, dude.
He has the ear, at least occasionally, of the richest and most powerful man in the world. What he gets out of this video is what he's going to get. People are going to know everything they need to know about him, and they can make decisions from there. Mark runs targeted harassment campaigns against devs that he deems as woke, and he buys his own likes on X.com when he gets ratioed by Assassin's Creed's community manager. He has pilfered and absconded with at least $1.6 million of funding for not one, but 2 failed games, and we have ample evidence that he's also absconded with extremely expensive video equipment to shoot his adult video side hustles. He is nothing if not a sad, lonely man who is desperate to leave a mark, any mark on the world, because he knows his career as a game dev is worth less than a cold turd on a hot dog bun. You now know everything about him. You know his business dealings, his motivations for hustling people out of $1.6 million. He is, in my opinion, a pervert of the highest order who has taken advantage of the goodwill of his fans, taken advantage of their bubbling rage, and he has taken advantage of his own family. And I think more people should know and understand this. Have a nice day.
I mean, I think that was pretty effective. That was a pretty effective takedown. It was thorough as fuck. Part 1. When's part 2 come out? This is a day old. It already has 300k views. Deserves them all. Yeah, if you want to support this video, I gave a link at the beginning, but I'm going to give a link now again. This is funny. We are in the era of, I think, just making sure that right-wingers have a bad time whenever possible. It is the time for aggression. You just can't be a shitty person for so long, man. People will just, get tired of that shit, man. I'm excited for part 2. I mean, what else could there be? What else could there possibly be? It gets worse?